What's up guys, TheMainManSWE here. I'm hoping you're all doing awesome as always, and today I'm gonna talk about Tekken 6 Kazuya. Great game, but my god, what did they do to my boy Kazuya in this game? He was terrible. The problem was he was still very hard to use, execution demanding like no other character, like super hard, but he was super weak on paper. And you don't want both of those components in the same character, like super hard and not a lot of efficiency once you've practiced for 5 years. He's still a weak character. It's like there was really no reason for anyone to ever play this character in this game if you wanted to play on a competitive level. But of course he was still a badass. But I'm gonna try and detail for you guys why he was such a nightmare in this game to use. I still stuck with him, he's always been my main, but whoa, it was very difficult. So to start off, let's just show what Kazuya still did very well. Punishment was still there. His jab was not as strong as Devil Jin's, it didn't have the same range, but 1-1-2 was still a 10 frame punish. It did not wall splat, but sure, it did its job. Back 1-2, 11 frame punish for 39 damage, good shit. And then of course he has the electric. So the defensive play was there, although you do have to note two things here. The electric, starting from this game, recovers slowly on whiff, like it does today. In Tekken 5, you know, it recovers super fast. I explained that in my Tekken 5 Kazuya video. So this hurt Kazuya shitload because he's the most electric dependent Mishima. So that was a problem in this game. And then he had no easy mode 15 frame punish. I'm gonna cover this more with his offense soon, but his down forward 1 in this game is not 15 frames, it's 16 frames. And that's a huge difference, especially when it comes to punishment, as a lot of key moves in the game are minus 15. So this punish is 16 frames. Would look something like that. So in defense, largely Kazuya is still there. The Kazuya you know, and of course, you know, the twin pistons are there at 13 frames in speed, minus 13, while standing 4-4, while standing to 16 frames fast and minus 18. But we're gonna note more things on the while standing 2 soon. So key things are EVGF, slow, recover. I'm actually gonna write some notes here. Down forward 1 is 16 frames. That's very big. It's not 15 as you know today. That is a huge deal for Kazuya. And then now I'm gonna explain the real bad stuff. We're gonna talk about, this was, all I said was from a defensive angle. Now let's talk offense. And holy shit, you know Kazuya today as a character who's great at defense. And in Tekken 7, he's just not the most poking oriented character. Offense is always hard with Kazuya. It usually starts with knocking someone down, and going into a 50-50 vortex, keeping them guessing, you know, on tech roll and back roll. But offense is hard with Tekken 7 Kazuya. Always poking is, I would say, okay-ish. But in this game, oh my god, trying to be offensive with the character. Let's just look at this. So as I said, down forward 1, big deal. The fact that it's 1 frame slower. But also you have to note that the follow-ups compared to Tekken 7 has the opponent in a flying state. So for example, the mid option here, down forward 1, forward 2, only does 26 damage because the second hit scales. It sees it as a juggle. So on all of these, there's a damage reduction. You did have an option that launched down forward 1, 4. Today it doesn't launch, it keeps them standing. But all the other options were, for example, this wouldn't wall splat. you know, so there was a damage reduction here on the down forward 1 mix-ups. But now let's go into one of Kazuya's absolutely most important tools, his forward 4. And let me show you what this looks like in this game. But first, offense, let's see. Forward 4, the Tekken 7 version is +5 on block and forces crouch. I'm gonna write FC. The opponent recovers in crouch, which is very important because they only have access to their while standing moves in that state. As you can see in this game, however, oh, and in Tekken 7 it keeps them very close to you. Here, he's not forced into a crouch, my opponent. And he's knocked away from me. Oh, from point blank, down for 2 will connect here. But from any other range except for point blank, the down for 2 whiffs. Very important. But it's only +3 on block. And they're not forced into a crouch. So jabs would interrupt Kazuya here if you went for down for 2. So one of his most important frame setups and lockdown tools, the down for 2 there is not guaranteed afterwards, or it's not uninterruptible. They can interrupt you with jabs, and again they're knocked back into safety. A lot of moves here would whiff. Can't even jab here. Let me tell you how many times you would eat magic 4s after people block this. They would do magic 4 and most of your tools would just you'd get wrecked. So in short, one of Kazuya's absolutely most vital tools was rendered almost useless. So forward 4 became +3, and that was it. It didn't force crouch or anything, and this pushback was terrible. So that was forward 4. This alone, you have no idea how much this alone hurts the character. And now also extremely important is Kazuya's down back 4, which, you know, Hell Sweep is launch punishable, so thank God we have a down back 4, less risk. In this game it took a damage nerf. It doesn't spark anymore like it did previously. It still it went from safe to -12. It's still -12 today. Not a big problem. But here's the big problem. This move today in Tekken 7, let's see, down back 4 in Tekken 7 is +4. And this is not a coincidence that it's +4. This makes it so that down for 2 is uninterruptible. Again, if they dick jab, they will trade with you and you will get a combo. It's uninterruptible. And down for 4 is uninterruptible. But of course, in this game, it became only +2. And this is even on counter hit. It's the same thing, +2. So this was an enormous problem because, again, the classic setup, down back 4, down for 2, didn't work. They could jab interrupt you. You're only +2. Down for 2 is 14 frames. You could not even keep them in check here with pretty much any mid. Any mid, you couldn't keep them in check. Again, this is 13 frames. Down forward 4. They would jab interrupt you. Forget about down forward 1. Forget about back 2. The only thing you could do here that would trade with a dick jab, 1 + 2. But this is a move that is -14 on a block. Paul can launch that. Brian can launch that. Mishima's with godlike execution can launch that. So down back 4 was much worse in a pressure sense in this because in this game it's largely today, you know, it's used to set up damage. It's just a great pressure tool, and here it's so lacking with only +2 advantage. And then, of course, this is also I'm gonna talk about this soon. He was so incredibly steppable in this game. He still is a very steppable character, but in this game it was just absurd. But a good move to shut down people who step, you know, today, sidestep free. Great move. Tracks to Kazuya's bad side if I step to the left. And again, you get a mini juggle, just like today. But, of course, we were not that lucky in Tekken 6 because it is -10. That's right, it's not safe. In Tekken 7, it's -7. In this game, -10. So you need 1-1-2. So, I'm trying to write down the huge problems here. There, you see. So again, sidestep free, a vital tool to shutting down people stepping. -10. Oh shit, in Tekken 7 it is -7, so just for reference there. So we're gonna cover now okay, so you can see that the offense was a problem, and now his greatest weakness. You know, in Tekken 7 he's so steppable to the left. In Tekken 6, think of all of his key moves, all of them, and the electric. If you just took the tiniest little step towards the left, all of this would whiff. Forward 3 has 0 tracking, 0! I mean, the hitbox is so small, it's so crap. Everyone knew, all you have to do versus Kazuya is step. While stunning 2 and down for 2, you know these as homing moves today, but they are not homing in Tekken 6. They still track a lot, but you could sidestep them, so they're not homing tools. And you don't have a back 4, which is a great safe homing move from Tekken 7. What you had, his homing move was while standing free, and it's 1 frame slower in Tekken 6 compared to today, Tekken 7. And sure, that was a tool you had to try and shut down people stepping, but it was just too slow, you know, to be able to do it quickly from standing, because you have to duck to do this. That you have to take that into consideration. It's great from a wave dash, but you have to duck. You know, if you wanted a homing move in this game, you really had to duck. You know, down for 2, sure, great. It's great tracking, almost a homing move, but it's -12 on block. So huge problems. Sidestep free, just not there. It's -10. So huge problems shutting down people stepping. And something else that's also noteworthy was that, of course, you know, in the 50-50 mix-up, okay, I can't do while stunning 2. You still had wave dash into while stunning 2. Again, not a full homing move, but did track a shitload. I'm usually quite good at doing those, but again, yes, main man records for YouTube. Can't do the basic Mishima stuff. Okay, that's not basic. That's actually pretty hardcore. Okay, whatever. You guys got the gist on that. But I also want to mention that his juggle damage suffered a little bit in this game because the second hit, as you can see, of down for 1-2 does not spark. And that was his bound tool. Ever since this game, that hit would spark. And you down for 1-4, the kick sparks in Tekken 7, adding to Kazuya's damage. So his key bound move, it just didn't do a shitload of damage, unfortunately. So that hurt his juggling a little bit. But yeah, that's gonna be it. So in summary, defense still good. Offense terrible. And Kazuya's greatest weakness, that's sidestep enhanced. He's never been as vulnerable to steps as he was in this game. So that explains Kazuya. I want to show you guys, he actually had a really cool staple, I think. Well, okay, I'm recording for YouTube. I love this staple. I saw the Koreans do it before the game was released. It really isn't that hard. Okay, but obviously I suck ass. Come on, man! Okay, you know what? It is actually rather technical. But I would learn to staple it. Oh my god. Fucking Tekken 6. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna land this before I stop the video. But it's so useless. It's way too technical for its own good. I mean, this is 10 times easier, this one, and does more damage. But this one looks so cool. There we go. It's not that hard. Well, okay, maybe it is. But this is also the game where we changed the hitbox of the electric so that you could 5 electric any character. Prior to this game, you could only 5 electric the bigger male characters. And of course, 5 electric, first attempt, do an easier staple, can't land it. Typical main man. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a nice day. Take care.